Merchants prepare for the repeal of Prohibition in Ohio, USA, 1933. An American Marine offers a doll to a child, Vietnam, 1965. The coronation of Bokassa, the Emperor of the Central African Republic. 1/3 of the country's budget was spent on it, and among the refreshments was the meat of his political opponents. A former German soldier, returned from captivity, reads notices on a tree about the search for relatives. Dresden, 1946. U.S. Vice President Nelson Aldrich Rockefeller gives the middle finger to a crowd of hippies during a public speech. New York, USA, 1976. Korean War veterans display experimental prostheses. South Korea, 1955. In 1938, London post offices allowed mailing ducks, rabbits, etc. Ended when blood-stained packages started arriving. Masonic Lodge meeting, USA, Arizona, 1897. A Palestinian teenager shoots a slingshot at an Israeli Air Force helicopter. West Bank, 1988. Camels against the backdrop of burning oil fields. The Gulf War, all because of money. Iraq, 1991. 89-year-old billionaire J. Howard Marshall and model Anna Nicole Smith. She eagerly awaited the reading of his will, but her husband didn't leave her a single cent. Drinking school children learn worse than non-drinkers. Anti-alcohol poster from the USSR, 1950s. A death toll counter from car accidents in Brooklyn, 1927. Andrew Card informs U.S. President George Bush of the terrorist attack, interrupting his reading to school children in Sarasota, Florida, September 11, 2001. One of the largest aviation disasters in Germany, during a bombing demonstration from a dive at low cloud cover, 1939. General Patton's dog mourning his owner's death, 1945. The first ATM shown in San Francisco, 1966. Frederick Zugibe, an American pathologist conducting research to understand how the crucifixion of Jesus Christ occurred, 1984. In 1931, the Bulu tribe of Cameroon, upon learning of the Great Depression in the U.S., raised $3.77 to help starving American families. It is their desire to help that is noteworthy, not the meager sum. A policewoman removing 2 girls from the beach because of the improper appearance of their swimsuits, 1922, USA. How Alaska's Muir Glacier changed from 1882 to 2015. In 1952, at the Helsinki Olympics, Luxembourg's athlete Josie Barthel sensationally won gold. No one from the organizers expected a victory from such a tiny country, so they didn't have the country's anthem. The orchestra simply improvised. The ship, Queen Elizabeth, arrives at the New York harbor. On board are soldiers returning from World War II, 1945. A fine for an overtly revealing swimsuit. Heemskerk, Netherlands, 1931. Pearl Harbor after the surprise attack by Japanese aviation. Hawaiian Islands, 1941. A police officer stands next to a member of the Black Legion, an underground group that split from the Ku Klux Klan. Members of the organization practiced ritualistic killings. A German woman sits alone with all her belongings in the war-torn city of Cologne, 1945. An Armenian woman from Aleppo with tattoos indicating her belonging to a Bedouin tribe, 1915. Arab nomads gave her a choice: marry one of them and convert to Islam, or be handed over to Turkish soldiers. Blacksmith Patrick O'Neill without one arm and his special working prosthesis, England, 1929. Playing tennis on the wing of a flying airplane, USA, 1925. One of the rare photographs taken on a ship transporting slaves, 1882. In Italy, pasta was once considered street food. In 1908, like all good street food, it was consumed not with a fork, but directly with bare hands. Chinese execution method, 1900. Prisoners stand on a pile of stones, with one stone removed each day until suffocation occurs. The Great Depression of the 1930s put millions of Americans out of work. Many competitors entered grueling dance marathons, sometimes dancing for weeks or months without rest, hoping to win money or secure food and lodging. The first woman who attempted to participate in an election. When trying to enter the polling station, she was pushed out and thrown to the ground. United Kingdom, 1872. Afghanistan in 1973 and 2016. A German motorcyclist on Russian roads, 1941. An emaciated former prisoner of Buchenwald concentration camp drinks from a metal bowl shortly after the camp's liberation, April 1945. A prisoner pulls a box of coal out of a coal face, Russia, 1890. Group school photo, Austria, 1899. In the center of the back row, 10-year-old Adolf Hitler. A minute before execution, the harsh realities of war and inhumanity. The British lined up Muslims of India for refusing to fight against the Ottoman Empire, World War I, 1914. King Olaf V of Norway presents his ticket to the conductor, 1973. The king traveled without security and said he had 4 million bodyguards, referring to the number of Norwegians in the country at the time. A young man says goodbye to his grandmother as he leaves for war, circa 1917, World War I. 100 years ago, this man was considered incredibly fat and was even showcased in a circus. Fashionable women with bronze rings on their necks. Fashionable women in eastern Burma do everything to make their necks as long as possible. Brigitte Bardot, the sex symbol of the 60s, but beauty does not last forever. Military leader Geronimo of the Chiricahua Apache, right, who led the fight against the U.S. invasion of his tribe's land for 25 years. In 1886, he was forced to surrender to the U.S. Army. The first cryopreservation of a human being, USA, 1967. Humanity had long sought a way to immortality, and in the progressive 1960s, it created the technology to freeze a deceased person in hopes of preventing decomposition, with the hope of reviving them in the future. The first person to undergo cryopreservation was James Bedford, who died in 1967 at the age of 73. Luftwaffe pilots at the ritual of welcoming new pilots into their ranks, 1942. The meaning of the ritual was to burn away their fear. Winter 2011. Kim Jong-un consoles cadets who are grieving the death of Kim Jong-il. The opening of the fountains in Peterhof, 1983. How Hiroshima has changed since 1945. Dinner in the luxurious dining hall of the Hindenburg airship, 1938. Special license plates for habitual offenders with distinctive badges greatly simplified police work, USA, 1939. Dancing Man, a photo taken on August 15, 1945, in Sydney, Australia. A man is seen dancing in the street out of joy upon hearing the news that World War II has ended. In 1940, portraits of Adolf Hitler were distributed in a Polish resettlement camp to be hung in apartments. The Nanking Massacre, December 13, 1937. Japanese forces storming Nanking massacred the civilian population. Over about 6 weeks, the toll is estimated at 300,000 dead and over 20,000 raped women. French civilians upon the entrance of the Nazis into Paris during World War II. Japanese prisoners of war with heads bowed listened to the announcement of Japan's unconditional surrender, September 2, 1945. Milkmaid School, Canada, 1927. Manute Bol, the tallest player in NBA history. The basketball player's height was estimated at 7 feet 6.9 inches, 231 centimeters. Once the roof of an Aloha Airlines first-class cabin tore off at an altitude of 7,800 meters. The pilot managed an emergency landing. 94 of the 95 people on board survived. The body of the flight attendant who was sucked out was never found. 1988. Lunch break during the filming of Star Wars. A man from Ukraine killed and ate his brother during a period of severe famine. Civil War period, Russia, 1921. An annual horrifying festival takes place in the city of Yulin in June. The Chinese eat up to 15,000 dogs. The overall statistics are even more frightening. 4 million cats are eaten annually in China. An arrested Saddam Hussein, Iraq, 2003. A photograph of Rainy Bethea taken 2 weeks before his hanging for the rape of a 70-year-old white woman. It was the last public execution in America, 1936. Joseph Stalin smiles after signing the Non-Aggression Pact between Germany and the Soviet Union, 1939. In the 1950s, U.S. prisoners were volunteers to test roller coaster safety. An ancient Greek torture involved a copper or brass bull with a hollow interior. The victim's terrible screams were amplified by the iron structure and sounded like the bull's roar. A Polish man and a German woman tied to a pillory of shame for having a relationship. The sign reads, "I am contaminating the race." Wounded British soldiers with trophy German helmets, France, 1916. Albanian refugees fleeing war, Marini, Albania, 1999. Prisoners of the Herero and Nama during the genocide in the early 20th century. What do you think of this traditional decoration for mercy women? Plates that stretch the lips? Chief U.S. hunting inspector with a confiscated 10.9-inch, 250-pound shotgun used for duck hunting, 1920. One shot with this would cover an entire flock. Such weapons were banned in the early 20th century. 1930s, Germany. A firefighter tests the latest invention, a suit that protects him from fire using jets of water coming from the top of the helmet. Soviet peasants listened to the radio for the first time, 1928. Testing a new fireproof construction material, New Haven, 1949. The completion of the assembly of the bomb called Fat Man. It would later be dropped on Nagasaki in 1945. A hungry boy standing for hours in an endless line for rice, China, 1948. A break during a football match, England, 1920. The Lebensborn program operated in the Third Reich. Racially pure women slept with SS officers to produce true Aryans. Over 12 years, 20,000 children were born through this program. After the atomic bombing of Hiroshima in August 1945, 80,000 people died from the explosion. By the end of the year, due to radiation and other consequences, the total number of victims exceeded 150,000. A Ukrainian immigrant establishment in New York offering free borscht to celebrate Stalin's death, March 6, 1953. The execution of the former Prime Minister of Nazi Hungary, 1946. Vincenzo Peruggia stole the Mona Lisa from the Louvre in 1911, and in 1913 the painting was found in his hotel room in Florence. Civilians sleep in the subway during another German bombing raid, London, 1940. The window of a rodent extermination business. They say they're still in business. These are Buchenwald concentration camp guards, captured by prisoners during the final days of World War II. We all know what became of them. Long, horrific torture and suffering. Germany, 1945. 80-year-old cannibal Tom, the last cannibal of Fiji Island, 1905. Residents of a Lithuanian village greeting a column of German tanks, 1941. Survivors of the Titanic approach the SS Carpathia, 1912. Berlin, May 1945. A frenzied elderly woman wanders the street amidst deadly combat. Photo from the German archive. A message to the homeland about the most important matters. Afghanistan, 2000s. For 2,000 years, the people of Sagada in the Philippines have avoided burying their dead. Instead, they hang coffins high on cliffs, believing that the higher the body is placed, the closer the soul is to heaven. Acoustic locators from World War I, 1917 to 1940. A donkey saving a donkey, while man kills man. Liquidators prepare to clear the reactor roof. Many of them would soon die from radiation sickness caused by exposure. During the Chernobyl nuclear power plant disaster, 1986. King Constantine II of Greece, right, and Prince Juan Carlos I of Spain, left, sparring in karate. Corfu, Greece, 1966. Whether this clip sparked joy, anger, or just a bit of annoyance, I want to hear your thoughts below. Stick around for part 2 coming soon. Please hit like and subscribe to support the channel. See you!